I want you to imagine for a second losing everything you love, everything that defines you, all because of a single common mistake that most men make in relationships. It's a mistake that is so easy to make, yet so devastating in its impact.
I made a mistake.
You see, when we fall head over heels for someone, it's easy to become completely absorbed in that relationship. We stop doing the things we love. We stop seeing our friends. We stop pursuing our hobbies. We become so engrossed in our partner and the relationship that our whole identity gets intertwined with it. And then one day we look in the mirror and we don't even recognize the person staring back at us. We've lost our spark, our individuality, our very essence. And that's when the relationship starts to crumble. The spark fades, infidelity creeps in, breakups loom on the horizon. And when the dust settles, we're left feeling more alone than ever, trying to figure out who we are as a single person without that crutch of a relationship. If it hasn't become super obvious yet, the biggest mistake I see most men make is that they lose themselves to their relationship. They fuse to their partner. They can't even separate where they end and where the relationship and their partner begins. But it doesn't have to be this way. A relationship should not be your entire world. It should be a part of your world, yes, but not the whole of it. You should both have people and activities outside of the relationship. You should both have your own identities. And if you think sitting there feeling like your entire world right now is your relationship, then it's time to make a change. It's time to start seeing your friends again, to pick up a hobby or work on something that's just for you. Because not only will this help you rediscover who you are, but it will also strengthen your relationship. Okay, so now you might be wondering how you can avoid this mistake. Well, stick around because we've got some excellent strategies lined up for you. Strategies that will help you maintain your identity even in the throes of a passionate love affair. Strategies that will help you avoid the biggest mistake. So stay tuned as we dive in on that. But first, I want to tell you a story about my friend who fell into this trap. Not once, but multiple times. Let's call him Cal. Now, Cal was a guy with a vibrant life. He had hobbies that he loved, friends that he cherished, and a gym routine that would put Arnold Schwarzenegger to shame. But every time Cal found himself in a relationship, it was as though the rest of the world ceased to exist. Now, the first time this happened, we didn't think much of it. Cal was head over heels in love, and it was clear his partner was his priority. But as the weeks turned into months, we started to notice the changes. He traded his beloved guitar for puzzles, his gaming nights with the guys for romantic dinners, and his gym sessions for a cozy Netflix day on the couch. And then the inevitable happened. The relationship ended, and Cal was left alone, stripped of his identity and more lost than ever. He had given up so much of himself that he was left feeling like a ship without a compass, adrift in the vast ocean of singledom. Now, you'd think Cal learned his lesson, right? Well, think again. As soon as the next relationship rolled around, Cal fell back into the same pattern. The guitar gathered dust, the controller was lost, and his gym membership expired. And again, when the relationship ended, he found himself alone like an astronaut floating out in space without a tether. It was heartbreaking to see our friend go through this cycle over and over again. It was as though Cal was a chameleon, changing his colors to blend in with his partner, forgetting his own vibrant hues in the process. Each time he emerged from the relationship like a shadow of his former self, having to relearn who he was, rediscover his passions, and rebuild his life. But the most devastating part was the effect it had on his friendships. We were always there for Cal, through every heartbreak and every breakup. But it was hard seeing him only reach out when he was single, only to disappear again when he was in a new relationship. It was like he was a comet, only passing by every few years before shooting off into the relationship galaxy once more. And it reached a point where we, his friends, felt like we were just a pit stop on his relationship journey, and it was a pattern we couldn't and no longer wanted to keep up with. So how do you know if you're on the path to loneliness and unhappiness? Well, you should ask yourself these 6 questions. Number 6, what did you enjoy doing when you were younger and before you met your partner? Number 5, when was the last time you did each of these activities? Number 4, why did you stop doing them? Number 3, what's holding you back from doing them right now? Number 2, what new interests have you had but you've not acted on? And number 1, what's one thing from this list that you can do today or this week. Once you get through this list, you're gonna know exactly if you're falling into this relationship trap, and stepping out and hitting at least one of these activities as soon as possible is the first step to pulling yourself out. Now, more importantly than fixing is how can you prevent yourself from going down this path so you avoid repeating the mistakes of my friend? Well, the key to avoiding this relationship pitfall lies in one simple rule. Remember who you are. In this whirlwind of romance, it's so easy to forget that you are your own person with your own wants, needs, desires, and boundaries. It's crucial that you keep a firm grasp on these aspects of your identity, even as you navigate the shared space of a relationship. Now, let's start with your wants and needs. These are the foundations of your identity. They determine your actions, your choices, your passions. Don't let them be overshadowed by your partners. Yes, compromise is a part of any relationship, but it should never mean completely disregarding your own desires. Then there are your boundaries. These are the lines that define what you are comfortable with and what you're not. They are a critical part of maintaining your individuality. Don't be afraid to express and uphold them. A relationship that respects your boundaries is a relationship that actually respects you. Friendships too play a vital role in preserving your identity. These bonds formed over shared experiences and interests remind you of who you are outside of the context of your relationship. They provide a support system, a sounding board, and a source of happiness. So keep seeing your friends. Don't let your relationship isolate you from other meaningful connections. And if you do notice your partner is actively doing things to prevent you from seeing your friends, you should start to question why that is. And that's a really deep topic that I can't cover in this video, but I will in another. Another important strategy is to prioritize me time. This is a time you spend pursuing your passions and hobbies and the things that make you, you. Whether it's going to the gym, painting, playing an instrument, or simply reading a book, these activities give you some sense of fulfillment and help you reconnect with yourself. So go back to that list you made earlier and start finding what brings you the most joy and bring back your true self. It's essential to have these activities and people outside of your relationship. This doesn't mean that you love your partner any less. On the contrary, it actually shows that you have a complete life, that you are a whole person who is choosing to share your life with them. This makes the relationship healthier and more enriching for both of you. Just because you're in a relationship, it doesn't mean it should consume your whole life. You also want to embrace healthy conflict. Yes, you heard that right, conflict. Because when conflict is managed properly, you can actually strengthen your relationship. It allows you to express your individual viewpoints and find common ground. It prevents resentment from building up and ensures that both partners' needs are being met. Check out my de-solve conflict system in my other video here if conflict and tension is something that you have struggled with in the past or even now. And if you are finding that your world revolves solely around your relationship, it's time to widen your horizons. Reconnect with your friends. Pick up some hobbies that you've left by the wayside and engage in activities that you love. And don't follow the same pattern as my mate Cal did, because ultimately a relationship should add to your life, not consume it. And check out my other videos for more relationship help and advice.